Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena Mana Burn. This is the series where we play decks that are so garbage that they break the game, and today is no exception. Our goal actually with this deck is to literally break the game with too many tokens. We're going to be playing around with a Mythos of Aluna Anointed Procession deck. So this is a combo that I've been wanting to try for a while, and I've been hearing rumors that the arena client cannot handle it. So Anointed Procession is going to be one of our build arounds. It's a 4-mana enchantment that says if an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. We're going to be comboing that with Mythos of Aluna, a 4-mana sorcery that creates a token of a permanent of your choice, and then the rest is irrelevant. So we're going to play down Anointed Procession, and then we're going to target it with Mythos of Aluna. So Procession's already in play, so when we try to make a copy with Mythos of Aluna, we're going to make 2 copies, because Procession is going to double that generation. If we can do that afterwards, we're going to make, I believe it's 8 additional copies of Anointed Procession. So I think it's like 11 processions in total, something like that anyway. So that we have that many effects. So if anyone doesn't know this, Anointed Procession stacks, which means if we were to create 1 token and we had a procession out, we'd make 2. If we had 2 processions out, we would make 2, but then double it to make 4, and double it and double it and double it and double it based on the amount of processions we have. This is a reason why it's going to break the arena client, because it's honestly going to be at such high numbers that the game will just not know how to even present them onto the board, because it's Unity and it struggles. So, that being said, this is a little bit of an Embalm deck with an enchantment sub-theme to it. So, we've got 3 copies of Legion's Landing and Sacred Cat, both 1-drops that allow us to make a 1/1. In the case of Sacred Cat, we have to use the Embalm ability, the 1 white from the graveyard, in order to make the actual token that counts. We also have Anointed Priest here, the secret best card in the deck. 2-mana 1/3, whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And then you can Embalm this one as well for 4 mana to bring out a token copy of it as well, so it will trigger upon itself whenever it embalms. Remember, we're going to be doubling up with Anointed Procession, so these are going to trigger off of each other when they enter the battlefield. So we're going to be gaining like 8 triggers off of like 2 or 3 Anointed Priests in one go, things like that. Birth of Meletus is an enchantment that allows us to go grab a plane so that we can make sure that we hit our land drops on time, because getting to turn 4 is very vital, and thinning the deck is also quite useful. It does also make a token and gain us some life, which is not irrelevant, especially with the Anointed Procession out, making an additional 0/4s is quite nice. Banishing Light to deal with our opponent's stuff. We're not going to be trying to interact with them too much, but Banishing Light allows us to get rid of certain permanents. And we can also copy Banishing Light with Mythos of Aluna as well. And if we've got enough Anointed Processions around, we can make multiple copies of this, and then Banishing Light can effectively become a board wipe. Not sure if we'll be able to pull that off, but we're going to have to see. And then, because we don't really care about our board until after we've resolved our combo, which is game-winning in itself, we've got 3 copies of Wrath of God to destroy all creatures to reset the board, and hopefully last long enough to survive. In order to tie all this together, we have lots of card draw in form of Thirst for Meaning, which is where the enchantment-esque sub-theme comes in. It says draw 3, but then discard 2 unless you discard an enchantment card. So it's either a draw 3, discard 1 if it's an enchantment, which is why we've actually got Birth of Meletus in here instead of something like Mind Stone, is so that we can actually discard it to the Thirst for Meaning. You can do the same for Legion's Landing as well. Or we can discard 2, and we can put some Embalm and Internalize cards into our yard. Eternalize is like Embalm, except for instead of just making a token copy of it, it makes a 4/4 version of it. So Champion of Wits, being a 3-mana 2/1, comes into play and draws 2 and discards 2. But if you internalize it for 7, it'll draw 4 and discard 2. If we can make many copies of that, then we'll be able to draw our entire deck and have lots of fun. The entire idea of this deck is to break the game, not in a way that wins us the game, but in a way that leaves it to a draw. So, usual disclaimer when it comes to Mana Burn, this is not a good deck, and I would not recommend crafting it, but if you want to have some hilarious fun breaking the game, then you can either enjoy that vicariously through me, or there's a deck list link down in the description below. The mana base is pretty simple. We've got 2 Castle Ardenvales. It's going to be the only land of note. Creates a 1/1, which obviously with tokens around, or Anointed Processions around, will do a lot more than just that. So yeah, without further ado, if you do enjoy the content, it helps out the channel a great deal if you do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Other than that though, Hopefully you enjoy, and we'll see you in the gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in, and we've got our combo in hand, so we just have to beg that we get our second blue source, and we live. We do have the Banishing Light to take care of anything individual that could be quite a problem, thus meaning draws us down the line later. Yeah, I think this just will fold to control, which seems to be the only thing that I find these days, but just gotta play. The whole point is to have fun, so if I can't have fun, what's the point? Let's just assume this is going to be a fun game. E2 Lava Runner. Actually could be a fun game. Got lots of life gain in our deck, so burn is not an issue. And we did get our second blue source as well, so Mythos of Eluna is castable. Hope for not too much pressure and for the Banishing Light to actually be decent. Could see them go for like a double shock here, or Wizard's Lightning in this case, to enable Lava Runner. Alright, it's a 3-powered creature. We do have Anointed Priest. At least we have something to play on our turn. Already at 14 though. Ugh. Okay, land. I don't know when we're going to find time to play Anointed Procession into Mythos or Eluna against this deck, if they keep up that same level of pressure we've just seen. But to be honest, if they can't kill the Anointed Priest here, then we don't take damage. I'm happy to see what you got. It's probably Pillar of Flame or Shock. Sure. Honestly, don't mind that. So we got Sacred Cat, or we could go with Banishing Light. I think it's got to be Banishing Light here on the off chance that we really desperately need to Mythos it, and we'll get rid of the Rimrock Knight since it is the most damage on board. Would make sense, right? Take 2. Chain Whirler. Alright, can we afford to Anointed Procession? Go to 6. I mean, we could technically be dead next turn, but what other play do I have that makes sense? Mythos on Chain Whirler. I'm just going for it. I'm just gonna do it. If we lose, we lose. Okay, gets in for 5. Probably 7 with Rimrock Knight, yeah. And then they might play Rimrock Knight here, and then we'll go for Mythos of Eluna on Chain Whirler. Make 2 Chain Whirlers, which wipes their board apart from their Chain Whirler, of course. But then we've got blockers for it. And we might just be stabilizing. Only just. We'll have to see. We're going to offer the trade with Chain Whirler if they give us it, but it seems they didn't. Alright, so Anointed Priest. Yeah, I think we're actually stabilizing now. So we're making 2 copies of Priest. Gaining 4 life. Opponent's like, what happened? Where did it all go wrong? Play Castle Ardenvale, and we'll just drop down Legion's Landing. A lot more life. This will make them explode, if nothing else. Okay, getting 4 more life. And we've done it. Very close, very close. I'm glad we at least managed to do something with our deck. That's all we can hope for at the end of the day, right? But we gotta keep going until we break the game. That's my rule. Okay, we have a fine hand. It's a little bit uninspired combo-wise, but we do have Mythos of Luna, so we are just an Anointed Procession away from completing it. And yeah, we do have turn 1 Sacred Cat, so it is what it is. Alright, so mono green Elves. Fair enough. Wrath of God's going to be pretty good against this matchup then, if that is the case. Got to choose the right time for it though, because they can very much rebuild if we're not careful. We'll take 2. Got the Anointed Priest. And I think we're just going to drop down a Champion of Wits here. We're looking for an enchantment with... with Champion Wits anyway, so Thirst for Meaning would be discarding 2 anyway. We'll go Anointed Priest and I guess Hardened Veil. I don't know if it'll go long enough for Hardened Veil to be relevant. But we do need that double blue. Alright, there's Clan Caller. So now we decide whether or not we actually want to start blowing up the world. I don't think we're at that point just yet. In fact, I think we're more at a just chump here kind of thing. And then block the extra damage next turn. Okay, make a land drop for the turn. And I think we'll go Thirst for Meaning. Looking purely for Anointed Procession at this point. Get rid of Birth. And play Sacred Cat. More chump blocks for the Chump God. I wouldn't possibly be running board wipes now, would I? Beast Whisperer. Alright, that coming down says to me this is perfect time for Wrath of God now. Because now it doesn't really benefit us all that much. Waiting until they go wide, because they're replacing all of their cards here. So we'll block and block, gain the life, and then we'll Wrath. Somewhat reset the board. And yeah, let's do Sacred Cat. Got the Legion's Landing to act as the Arden Veil that we just discarded. So hopefully we can get to that at some point. One's going all in again. Elvish Visionary. Marwyn the Nurturer. Oh baby. Oh, baby. Anointed Procession. I think we're going Legion's Landing now. Because next turn we can do Mythos Sacred Cat, so we kind of get the same job done. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, best draw now is another Mythos of Aluna. Because we can Mythos the Anointed Procession, Sacred Cat make too many tokens. Ooh, Fauna Shaman for Crater Hoof is a thing. I don't know where that leaves us life total-wise, actually. Alright, well, we're going to chump a little bit. So we actually blocked 2 points of damage there, whereas next turn we're probably only blocking 1 point. Alright, so Mythos of Aluna, Anointed Procession. Make 3 Anointed Processions in total. And then follow that up with a Sacred Cat and hope for the best, really. 8 Sacred Cats. Thank you. Appreciate it. Opponent Cocos. Hits exceptionally well. Yeah, this is Crater Hoof time, and I think we're just dead. We're only at 29. Life total virtually here. With the Archdruid. It's surprised they just played that out there. They need a creature to discard to Fauna Shaman. We might actually be able to survive a hit with Anoint a Priest coming out, making enough tokens. Again, we're going to chump and chump, because while it's not trampling, we can block the most amount of damage here. So block and block. Up to 20. Birth of Meletis. Let's see, shall we? I think it has to be Anoint a Priest. So make 8 Anoint a Priests, each one triggering after themselves. So we're making 64 life. These block a little bit more damage. So if they don't draw a creature next turn, then they're kind of durdling a little bit, and I could maybe make more tokens with the Birth of Meletis. Then again, we do have Champion of Wits coming down as well, making 8 of those, which is more triggers. This is just a passive life gain, though, if they don't have it. But I could go for a Thirst for Meaning, discarding Birth of Meletis, and potentially set myself up a little bit more. Let's just Thirst. I'm sure I could find maybe 2 things here that could do me some good. Well, there's a Sacred Cat and an Arden Veil. So we actually want to put Sacred Cat in the graveyard, I think. Graveyard, graveyard. Play Arden Veil, play Sacred Cat. Didn't realize we hadn't actually made our land drop either, so... yeah, just getting another 64 life. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Not quite at broken the game territory, but... closing in, I would say. It's certainly gonna eat away at a timer, I would imagine. Yeah, alright, now we're gonna survive a Crater Hoof. Whether we can survive the next one is to be determined, though. We're just going to pass through our combat step. The end goal for us is purely to draw the game. Because I don't think we can win this, but we can sure as hell draw it. Alright, so they make some 5/5s. If it's a creature, they can discard it to Fauna Shaman and get Crater Hoof. Four. It's Collected Company, okay. Dig for some more lords. Get Llanowar Elves and Clan Caller. It's pretty good. Again, we just have some more blocks, though. And they are so dead to a Wrath of God, if we could ever find one. Okay, we're going to go Thirst for Meaning. Draw 3. Oh. Decline. Birth of Meletis, Sacred Cat. Play Anointed Procession. So 3 wasn't enough. We'll see what 4 does. Oh god. We're on 16. For 128 Anointed Procession triggers. Alright, I'm gonna pass the turn. Auto pass. Oh, we're doing it, chat. Kitty Cat Tribal right here, right now. I think it's gonna time me out, though. But to be honest, that's kind of what I want. We can swing in with 3 tokens to flip the Legion's Landing. That's probably for the best. So then we've got Arden Veil plus Legion's Landing. We can tap every turn if we really want to. Though we can have an entirely full hand with Champion of Wits, and that will actually probably break the game. Because we've got all of these triggers to go through every time we cast one creature. And then we've also got a draw and discard that I need to accept and then do the drawing and discarding for. It's a May ability, so I don't have to deck myself with it. Alright. We actually don't want the auto pass. If we've not skipped it, then that's great. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Flip Legion's Landing. Now we'll skip. You can do whatever you want now. We're at 276. It's still within the realm of possibility that a Crater Hoof can absolutely murder us. I would not rule it out. But as I said, I wanna draw this game out as much as possible. Okay, that's a lot of mana. Can't do anything with the rest of it. Clan Caller's summoning sick. Alright. No creature, no creature, no creature, no creature, no creature. It's Clan Caller. Maybe they don't have Crater Hoof in their deck. It's a massive oversight if they haven't. I feel like that's exactly why you have Fauna Shaman in your deck. Yeah. Wrath of God seems good. Alright, so we're gonna swing. All attack. We might have already had lethal beforehand, to be honest. Just judging by the numbers that I'm seeing on my screen right now. It's entirely possible that we already had what we needed here, but this will almost assuredly mean that we win this game. We actually will just legitimately win this game. At this rate. If not just right now, to be honest. Yeah. So I'm sure I'll have got some of the missed lethal comments, but to be honest, this isn't my ideal victory. I would have really much rather broken the game. Maybe we can still do that. I'm coming, opponent. I'm going to draw the game. Let's get those on the stack in response to those triggers. Let's get these on the stack. There we go. I have won via the combat damage. Oh god, did you see the lag? I have won via the combat damage heading to my opponent's face. But there's also 250 triggers to resolve. Which may or may not get to the end before I time out. But if it does its usual shenanigans where when you time out it kind of ends phases and whatnot, I'm already in combat, so I have declared lethal. I think my opponent's like manually clicking through these triggers. This is where I wish that there was a chat option. That I could just tell them like, press shift enter and it'll machine gun its way through. Unless it's actually like game breaking. I don't know. Let's face it though, a chat option's not that much more BM than emote spamming. You can just not open the chat. Oh boy, isn't this glorious? I feel like they could have won though, if they'd have discarded with Fauna Shaman for Hoof. Maybe it's just Coco Elves though, and they've decided to increase their odds of hitting by not running it. It seems weird to me. But perhaps. So I mean, even Beast Whisperer doesn't really synergize with Collected Company either, so maybe that's their top end, as it were. Air quotes. Hit 420. Magic number. So we're at 534, I think it was, in total for life here. But that's actually before all the tokens come into play. I'm sorry I did this to you, opponent, but you did nice me, so I feel like that was an emote written contract that you were okay with me doing this. We're not that far away anyway. What did I say? 554 before combat? I thought 534. What was it? Oh, I'm so happy. I haven't quite broken the game, but 535. Close. Opponent makes a token. Yes, opponent. Yes. Love it. It's all I could ask for. Clan Caller. Gets another Clan Caller. Now, this is the opponent you want to go up against. They're timing out, and that makes me happy. Alright. Pew, 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 pew. -3. Alright, 564 life total overall. It's pretty good, but it isn't breaking the game. We did have a little bit of a lag spike, but we can do better. I think in order to do better than this, I need to copy Anointed Procession with Anointed Procession copies out already. That's really what I need. But I don't think I could have waited long enough for the second Mythos of Illuna on Anointed Procession there. And in fact, it might have just completely destroyed the game. I don't know. We might not have even seen any kind of interaction. And yeah, they were in that situation where I kind of had to just Wrath of God. Otherwise, we were probably going to lose that way as well. But I don't know. Next chance. We'll keep playing on, because this is Mana Burn after all. We always achieve our goal eventually. Okay, we're in, and this hand is a little bit awkward, to be honest, but we do have playables, and yeah, I just really wish one of these Mythoses was actually an Anointed Procession. That would have made this hand pretty great. But we're going to keep it, we're going to see what we can do. We can always use one of these against our opponent, maybe copying one of their good spells. Alright. So it looks like maybe mono red, but what kind of mono red? Burn, okay. It's actually a good matchup for us if we can draw the right cards. I'm going to offer up a trade here. And then, because that's a wizard, I'm going to get off the board with a Banishing Light. Don't want them having Wizard's Lightnings that cheap and easy to cast. And now Banishing Light's down, we can also use Mythos of Illuna on it. Heartfire Immolator. So yeah, we could like Mythos the Banishing Light here and then copy that, but I don't think we need to care too much about that. We'll just go with the Champion of Wits. Try and draw our Anointed Processions. We're at 20 as well, which is a great place to be. Alright, so I'm going to discard a land. And honestly, Thirst. Play a land. I want my 4th land. I do not want to, for the memes, get rid of Mythos of Illuna. Also, I think it might actually be a decent call just to have this as backup anyway. Because, you know, copying Whirly Boys is potentially on my to-do list. Light up the stage. Stomp, stomp. Okay. Wow. I think this is a Wrath of God kind of situation. You only hit creatures or planeswalkers. So we could actually Mythos the Chain Whirler, but it wouldn't really kill anything, and then they have the double Stomp here open. I think I'd just much rather clean the board up, make those Stomps just not all that fantastic. They can, of course, hit me in the face with them, but I feel like I've set up a little bit of a tougher decision point for them here. So I'm going to go with Heartfire Immolator and then one Shock. One Stomp. Yeah, so now they lose the other Bone Crusher Giant, and I'm glad for that being the case. Alright. We'll go Sacred Cap. And I think it's way too greedy at this point for me to not use one of these Mythoses, so where do I want to use them? Could use it on the Heartfire Immolator, or I could just Banishing Light it. 3 for 5. I could also, funnily enough, use it on a land, and if I draw a land next turn, Champion of Wits is castable, and that's a draw 4, discard 2. Being on 11, though, it's a little too sketchy for my taste, so let's just copy Banishing Light and get rid of the Immolator. They're basically set up now to just play a 3-drop and then pass, which is fine by me. Well, lost our kitty. And we would have drawn a land, but it would have been a painful land. Alright, well, Mythos, get rid of Bone Crusher. Oh, what a weird game. Cannot get rid of the last one, though. This one's an absolutely never cast under any circumstances, Mythos of Illuna, unless it's touching an Anointed Procession. Alright, well, we do have a 4/4 Champion of Wits now, which is gonna really need to help us out here with something decent. Anointed Priest is not bad. We'll dump one land. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll go with Anointed Priest land. That means I can embalm and then play a champion. Yes. This is fine. Opponent's not pointing burn at my face. And that is way more ideal. Because I can keep up with Bone Crusher Giants. We're actually going to go with Birth of Meletus here and do a bit of thinning. So it also gains his life and makes us a 0/4, which is great for blocking. And then we'll do Champion of Wits. Draw 2. There we go. Alright, so we have to discard 2. So we're going to have to get rid of the land. But we have the Anointed Procession now and the Mythos of Illuna, which we can cast on the same turn. Definitely block. Would hate to see Ember Cleave here. I think what we have to do, judging by the way that they're playing here... Oh, Fire Immolator, okay. Judging by the way they're playing here, we're going to have to go with Anointed Procession and then use one of our Anointed Priests. Ah, boo, hiss, mono reds. Yeah, the moment they saw it, they knew they were done. I think we gained like 8 life off of just one Anointed Priest. And then the turn after that, we Mythos, make 3 copies in total of Anointed Priest, which is doubled, doubled, and doubled again. And then we go Anointed Priest. I'm pretty sure that trigger will actually halt the game. But who knows? We'll never find out anymore. Boo. Okay, we're in. We actually have a reasonable hand. Turn 2 Birth of Meletus gets the 3rd land for Banishing Light. So we can have some removal to keep up with our opponent. Then we can also go for the Birth of Meletus again for the 4th land we need. So all we're really lacking now is an island for Mythos of Illuna. And then some shenanigans can occur. Alright, opponent's busy changing the colour of their animal. I'll do the same. There you go. Little Percival, we're going to call it. This is Percival. The demon cat. Alright, so opponent mulls. It's a good sign at least. And we're ready to go. Alright, hoping for a fair matchup here where interaction will be useful. Llanowar Elves. Alright. We did get our island as well, which is fantastic. So we're going to go Birth of Meletus, grab the plains. And it could be an elf matchup. Just played one of them, but it went mighty fine, because we did find our Wrath of Gods in time, so let's do that again. Ooh, Stomping Ground, Pelt Collector. Alright, so it's Gruel Aggro. A little bit less likely to win this one, I would say. Zertar. Means that we're going to have to go Banishing Light on that, I would say. Make a 0/4. I want to keep basically 3/3s off the board, because then it opens up Domri's Ambush to take out my wall. Need them to do a little bit more than just have Ambush to get some damage through here. But we are at Procession Mythos over the next 2 turns, as long as the aggression here isn't too strong. I guess in those 2 turns it would be really nice to find a Wrath, so that if the pressure is too much, we can pivot a little bit. Opponent's going to shock in for a Questing Beast. Yeah, it's a pretty bad one for us. Gonna be tough keeping up with that one for a while. Okay. Oh, baby. Alright, Anointed Procession. What we want now is a land, essentially, so we can go Mythos of Illuna. Actually, no, we'd go Procession into Sacred Cat. Gruel Spellbreaker. Probably going to make it a 4/4 if I had to guess, so that the Pelt Collector has Trample. Yeah, now we're in a real bad spot. No reason not to get in with the Llanowar Elves there. It's a 3 point of damage. I think I have to take the block here. As much as I don't want to. They're basically an Embercleave away from winning. Banishing Light. Right, so Banishing Light can get rid of the Questing Beast and we can play a Sacred Cat. And then if we draw a land, we've got Mythos, Procession, Sacred Cat. I think that's what we have to do. Get rid of the Questing Beast we cannot block. That has a very dirty interaction with Embercleave because of the 19th line of text on it. This at the very least can block the Spellbreaker and the Pelt Collector. Yeah, we're really just hoping for... That's okay. Just hoping for a land. It's a bad coin flip away from being a reality. I guess ideally not a shock land, because that puts us in lightning strike range. Ugh. Alright, well, it's going to have to be Champion plus Sacred Cat then, isn't it? I'll hold off on our hopes and dreams for a little while longer. Let's draw and discards. Land plus Sacred Cat would be nice. We'll go down Thirst, down Birth. Make a land, play Sacred Cat. I think being forced to play the cat here is probably going to spell defeat for us here. Especially if they've got any kind of interaction. Because I can triple block to kill a 4/4, but if our opponent just has shocks, then I can't do that anymore. They should have actually waited. I don't know why they popped off like that so early. So they can still play Embercleave and be mana efficient. Yeah. Okay, opponent's got everything. Womp womp. We got so close though. Just a little bit too slow. -3. Meh. Alright, we're in. We have our combo in hand. We've got Birth and Meletus. We simply need... Hello. Some affection from our opponent, and we've got it. Yeah, we simply need just another island so we can Mythos. And then we're in a real golden spot. Well, hello there, Hallowed Fountain. We're going to grab a Plains with our Birth and Meletus. And yep, might as well swing in for one. Life gain could end up being relevant if this is Gruel. This is Golgari. And Priest of Forgotten Gods, okay. So this is probably a Bolas's Citadel list, which is kinda hilarious. Since that's going to be all about sacking the Citadel to ping us to death, and we should be at like near infinite life by the time that becomes relevant. No good attacks anymore. Yeah, next turn we go Anointed Procession. Turn after that, we break the game. We're now going to break the game. Okay. So make a token. We go Anointed Procession. Unless our opponent has Assassin's Trophies for this enchantment, I think they're in trouble. Collected Company. I don't think this deck runs Assassin's Trophies. Or any kind of enchantment removal, to be honest. Ooh, do you want to go Priest and make me sack a wall? I'd probably sack Sacred Cat, actually. Since it'd be my follow-up play here. It hardly seems worth it, but... if you think it's worth your time, who am I to stop you? And sacks the food. This feels like an I'm gonna scoop kind of play. Really wish you wouldn't. Naughty things are gonna happen next turn. Alright, it's Jund. And Blood Artist for our opponent. So we do unfortunately need to shock ourselves, but it's not that unfortunate when you think about what we're going to be following it up with. Alright, so let's go 90 Procession copies. Hope they don't have Assassin's Trophy. They do not. We can afford to wait. We're at 22. They're not showing any signs of citadeling us next turn, nor actually being able to kill us, so... If we can Mythos the Anointed Procession again, and then into Sacred Cat, then we've got a very large board that can attack through and make probably enough life total for us to never need to care about what our opponent's doing ever again. Alright, so War Strider is in. They've got their free sack outlet. They might Priest the Goat and the Gilded Goose. Yep. Really putting the pressure on, or attempting to. Yeah, I've got my token, yep. Which gets a little death trigger as well. I will get rid of a wall. It's pretty good. I honestly could see them winning next turn. If we don't break the game and lead it to a draw. Alright, so Mythos of a Luna, Anointed Procession. Sacred Cat. Let's see what happens. So we're making one token, and then we're doubling it. 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 I don't know how many we're making here, but I'm pretty sure I've achieved my goal for the day, which is to make too many things for my opponent to keep up with. That being said, as I mentioned, if they do get to actually untap here, I could see a world where they 13 us, since they've got land into Citadel maybe next turn. Plus a free sack outlet for War Strider to do the scrying. They've got everything they really need here to solve this problem, but I don't think they're going to have the chance. I don't think they're ever going to be able to untap. I think this is all we can ask for. That's all I wanted to do with this deck. Welcome to Mana Burn, where we break the game for the lulz. I'll leave on my screen how many tokens we've just made there, because I'm sure it's a lot. I kind of wish we had an Anointed Priest, and then, you know, the triggers would be way too many. But the fact that the timers kind of hit nothing, and my opponent's not losing their timer, and neither am I. Oh, I was going to say, some weird noises are going on. I guess the moral of this story is, don't Mythos Anointed Procession twice, because Arena can't handle it. Just remember, we're making one token here. It's not as though I can make slightly less tokens. Let me say hello to our opponent. They did emote us before. I wonder if I've broken their game instead of my own. Oh, yes! Unexpected match complete. Current match has ended for an unexpected reason. Great error. The winner is draw. Well, they weren't playing, so I don't know who they are. But, yep. Managed to do it. I'm so happy. So, the verdict of this deck, I mean, it's under the Mana Burn tag. For those who are, you know, veterans of this channel, you'll know that anything with Mana Burn written in it is hot garbage. And this is no exception. This one, literally, you cannot win the game with it. Not in the way that you'd like, so, you know. I wouldn't recommend building this one, but if you want to break the game, deck list is down in the description. Again, I wouldn't waste your wildcards on it, because, yeah, this is what you could expect. But hopefully you've enjoyed, and if you have, it would really help out the channel a great deal if you do hit that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, I'm going to end it off here. See you all next time. Bye-bye.